Hey everyone, it's your favorite Donabot here. Now, for the last couple months, or at least, pretty much months in general, I've actually been seeing this go around on MonsterVerse Godzilla versus TriStar Zilla or Zilla Jr. And people have always voiced their opinions about what they think Zilla Jr.'s scale is or how strong they think MonsterVerse Godzilla is. And in all honesty, to me, it's a little inconsistent on both sides here. And I do think that MonsterVerse Godzilla is definitely planetary. I definitely think he's a planetary character. And I think that Zilla Jr. is around the same level, just with better speed feats. So here's what we're going to do, right? We're going to give both monsters their respective scaling. And we're going to go and ask this question. Is this matchup fair or is it a mismatch? So again, we're going to address the scaling for both characters, for both monsters, and we're going to just put them in a versus matchup, and then I'll give my opinion on who wins, and then my verdict on if this matchup is really a fair one, or is it a curb stomp. Let's begin. Now, with Zilla Jr., there is a pretty good consistency in the Godzilla the Series franchise, and there was actually some monsters that were supposed to be utilized, but they were never used. So you're going to learn about that today. So the scaling comes from Medusa to start off, right? Medusa has the quotes and the statements in the series itself that Medusa was able to metabolize all of Earth's water, a multi-continental feat, meaning she would basically absorb all of Earth's water if she wasn't stopped. So yeah. And this comes from the episode Freak Show. Now, later down the line, Godzilla is able to not only overpower Medusa, but actually beat her. And this is important because he was more powerful than fusion core missiles, which were used against Medusa, but they didn't work. Meaning that not only was Zilla Jr. able to overpower Medusa physically, and he was able to do it within water that she was absorbing and gaining more power from, but that he easily melted her and allowed heat to kind of like clean her up. We also know that there were monsters planned, such as Anguirus, Biolate, and the Flying Gigan, who actually has a full artwork for him actually fighting this flying Gigan or whatever, including monsters like Megalon as well, who are all supposed to appear in the rest of a season 2 to season 3, but it got canceled. So again, assuming these monsters were able to still fight against Godzilla, and Godzilla is either able to beat them on his own or needs a little bit help from heat, which is pretty consistent in the show here, it would still mean that these monsters are relatively above the likes of Medusa, because it would be a much stronger Zilla Jr. post that episode. Zilla Jr. is also incredibly intelligent as well, being able to even plan ambushes against predators who have much more experience than him, like the Cryptoclydus, who is a mutated version of itself. The Cryptoclydus existed during I think it was the Jurassic or the Cretaceous period. But again, Zilla was able to outwit and outmaneuver and outplan a creature that had more experience than him. Zilla Jr.'s teeth is actually really strong despite its size. It's able to bite through and crush titanium like it's nothing. So this means that Zilla Jr. will actually be able to rip apart Mechagodzilla from the MonsterVerse's armor. Zilla Jr. also has a healing factor, being able to heal while in water, and it's actually, his hide is impenetrable unless you have an acidic or a durability bypassing ability. Zilla Jr. is also ridiculously fast, and I've seen a lot of scaling for Zilla Jr., but here's where I scale him. I easily scale him in the faster than light department. This is important because Zilla Jr. has not only been able to dodge concussive blasts, but he's also been able to dodge lasers from the Tachyon ships, and has even been able to tag the Tachyon ships, which are able to navigate through space quite casually. So not only does Zilla Jr. have the capabilities of tagging faster than light weaponry or faster than light vehicles, but he's also able to consistently harm and destroy them as well. He's even dodged things that were just little more than insignificant to him, like missiles that were actually coming at him as he was roaring, and he still dodged it at a point blank range. In terms of his hacks and abilities, Zilla Jr. actually possesses the atomic fire breath, which actually has so much chemical properties, is able to set, not only pretty much drain the moisture out of his opponent, but also being able to attack and even harm beings such as the hummingbird. As a matter of fact, the hummingbird is one of the other few reasons why I think Zilla is faster than light, because as you can see here, the hummingbird is able to use light to reflect, use light to reflect itself, and they actually will be able to move at that speed here. Zilla Jr. also had some trouble attacking them at first because he didn't understand what was going on. But once he got these glasses on him and was able to tag them at first, these glasses later got destroyed, but he was able to tag them while they were reflecting light, meaning Zilla would again have faster than light speeds. But anyway, like I was saying, the atomic breath, right? His atomic fire or atomic fire breath was able to straight up just rip through other monsters, being able to tag, again, the tachyon ships, okay? These tachyon ships, these alien ships or whatever, that were able to move at light speed here. He's even able to use it to pretty much harm monsters that would scale above his durability. So in all honesty, you could actually say this would actually be, again, a planet busting or a planetary plus. He can also burrow beneath the ground and set it like ambushes, or at least fake out his opponents like he's in the hole, and that way they just don't they don't even get him. So in all honesty, easily planetary, faster than light reflexes, very good healing factor, all that good stuff. So let's move on to his opponent, MonsterVerse Godzilla. Now, MonsterVerse Godzilla should also scale to planetary, all right? And this is actually the reasons why. But let's go with, again, the lowest possible scaling. Now, Godzilla, after the event of Godzilla Aftershock, should scale above the likes of Muto Prime. This is important because he was taking attacks from Muto Prime, was actually able to stagger her a little bit. And we do know by the time Godzilla King of the Monsters rolls around, he is stated to be stronger than Muto Prime. Now, what's really important about Muto Prime is that she has the ability to recreate any earthquake in history. Now, the writers of this comic specifically state that Muto Prime is either moving a fault line or recreating a fault line. Not recreating, making a new fault line. So this is possibly, possibly Muto Prime being able to pretty much just shatter tectonic plates pretty easily and being able to recreate any earthquake in history. This would put Muto Prime at a continental level. Now, we also know that in ancient times, Godzilla was able to take down Kong, and Godzilla is consistently above other Titan species. Now, what's important is the Titans actually do scale to a younger Godzilla's durability, and I'll get into that soon. But he was able to ragdoll Scylla, and Scylla was still able to damage him. He was able to throw around Amulok with ease. He was able to take on and even restrain Titanus Tiamat. And again, this is important here because, again, these Titans scale to a much younger Godzilla's durability. Now, these Titans are known to have already ravaged much of the planet during the time of King of the Monsters, when they were under the reign, or at least under the alpha privilege, of King Ghidorah. We also know that Tiamat herself scales above Muto Prime, which would make her Continental Plus. But again, these guys are at least multi-continental, and here's why, right? So Godzilla will be above these monsters because in his younger days, right, he was able to tank the Permian extinction. Now, you guys can just Google that for yourselves here, but the Permian extinction was able to wipe out 99% of life on Earth, meaning a small 1% was able to survive here. We also know during King of the Monsters, Godzilla was able to go toe-to-toe with King Ghidorah. Now, King Ghidorah was scale above all these other Titans and easily could scale to amped Godzilla and should be stronger than a younger Godzilla. We also know Godzilla scales above Kong, who by the time of Godzilla vs. Kong should be superior to Camazotz, who has a quote of being able to cut the entire planet off of sunlight. So Godzilla scaling above multiple Titans, which would scale to his younger self's durability, being ghidorah to fight against King Ghidorah, who was above the other Titans. Yes, this is consistently putting Godzilla at a planetary or at least a planet-destroying margin. All right? So Godzilla being able to do that himself, being able to wrestle and take down these other monsters with ease, should honestly be pretty consistent here. Now, Godzilla has a plethora of abilities, such as, his, I guess you could say the atomic pulse, but this kind of comes where his dorsal spines are shattered. You also have Godzilla being able to use telepathy, or at least in some ways has cosmic or nature awareness, with him being able to connect to the planet itself, thanks to Mothra giving him a sense of where all these Titans are, and giving him a sense of the environment's dangers and threats. So he also has his atomic breath, which obviously is overpowered. He's been able to tear through the Earth's crust and even reach the hollow Earth, which means he was able to burst through our surface, go through a wormhole, all right, and was able to just completely wreck Kong's entire home. So again, that's Godzilla's atomic breath, all right? So without further ado, let's really begin. Is this match fair or an utter stomp in one's favor? Now, the advantages of each one are very clear. Godzilla is stronger. I would actually say he's a bit more durable than Zilla as well. And it's pretty consistent in his verse that he should be stronger than Zilla Jr. here. I mean, he's manhandling and throwing around much heavier monsters, albeit Zilla does weigh in the metric ton department. Godzilla's monsters are just bigger, heavier. While yes, Zilla has fought monsters that are at least 200 feet in size and possibly would have gotten to bigger monsters. But again, Zilla Jr. is just not as strong. However, Zilla Jr. is faster, more agile, and has a lot more abilities to use than Godzilla. And again, the thing is here, Zilla Jr. could actually blitz and still be able to harm Godzilla. That's kind of the thing, and I see why people say he wins more often than not. The speed gap is just so astronomically wider than the MonsterVerse here that he honestly should be able to take it more often than not. Plus, with his atomic breath, him being able to burrow underneath his opponents, and him being a lot smarter. I'm not saying MonsterVerse Godzilla is not intelligent by any means. It's just that Zilla has a much more understanding of battle and actually being able to set traps a lot more than MonsterVerse Godzilla. All right. So in all honesty, I do see why I do see why people favor Zilla more often than not, and I actually do favor him more often than not than others. While Godzilla could physically manhandle and eventually overpower him, Zilla is still strong enough to not only move Godzilla, but to actually knock him around just enough. And he's just much faster, meaning that Godzilla is going to have a hard time, if not barely tag him at all. So in all honesty, this match is fair, but Zilla Jr. wins because he has the clear advantage in speed and agility. That's going to be all for today, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.